All right, guys, we are back with another episode of Marketing Without Rules, the show where we celebrate people who exemplify the hunter mindset. They make moves, they color outside the lines, and they have found creative ways to channel the attention of their community into currency. This show is sponsored by Blue Crocus Solutions, a web design and SEO agency focused on helping home service companies. I am your host, Louis Vandervalk, and today I have the pleasure of chatting with Matt Plapp. Matt is the chief energy officer of America's Best Restaurants, leading a powerhouse team of 55 marketing experts dedicated to helping independent restaurant owners increase their sales and customer frequency. With a reach of 2,500 plus restaurants nationwide, Matt is on a mission to ensure local restaurants get the attention they deserve to attract more loyal and repeat customers. His attract, build, and retain marketing formula has transformed how restaurants connect with their communities, driving real, measurable growth. Now, Matt's a lot of things, speaker, 3-time author, all of that, but I'm excited to chat with him. I've been following him since 2022, and you look at his shirt, it's orange. He just lifted an orange cup to his, to drink there. So Matt's a marketer at heart, but Matt, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, looking forward to chatting. Again, it's let's talk about orange. Where did the orange come from? You are known as the orange dude.
So
I've seen it on the Facebook groups. Yeah,
orange was an accident at first and became intentional. So I was back around 2016 to 17. I was recording videos every Monday, and I had just a regular golf shirt. I had an orange one, a blue one, a white one, a red one, had mattplapp.com on it, my website. That was the extent of my marketing back then. I used to joke that if I had to market, then I had problems, because that was kind of my mindset, was that I didn't need to market. Now I'm the opposite, where we market everything, because hell, McDonald's markets, why wouldn't you? But my shirts were all I had. And on a handful of Mondays in a row, I would film for like 8 hours on a Monday and make 50 videos, and we'd chop them all up. And just by complete coincidence, I had wore the orange shirt a few Mondays in a row. So I show up to a conference in San Diego, a guy named Billy Jean Shaw. Billy Jean is marketing. And I was one of his 6 people in this inner circle he had started. And I showed up, and he gave everybody a shirt to wear at this conference for day one. So I wore the shirt. And he's like, what are you wearing? I'm like, the shirt you told us to wear. He's like, where's your orange shirt? And I'm like, what do you mean orange shirt? He's like, are you messing with me? I'm like, I don't think so. And he pulls his phone out, goes to my YouTube channel, and every video I'm in an orange shirt. He's like, that's not intentional. I'm like, no, apparently it's not. I'm not that smart. And he's like, well, when people call our company and they ask about marketing advice, we tell them Matt Plapp, and they go, oh, the guy that wears orange. And so he's like, Matt, you're now the orange guy. Live it. And it was just an opening for me to, okay, let's do it. And it was a complete accident. So here we are, let's say 9 to 10 years later from when it really started. But when I look back, my golf belt was orange. My ski outfit was orange and blue. So the gym that I owned for 10 years was orange and blue. So I don't know where it came from, and it just kind of happened. I'm sure it's kind of one of those subconscious things, but we just owned it. I mean, I wear orange shoes every day.
Yeah.
I got a new pair.
You've got custom kicks as well that are orange.
Oh, yeah, I got all sorts of them. There's boxes of them. I just got these from a lady in Belgium that does stuff for our clients and me. So these are for a pizza event that I'm going to in a couple weeks.
Look at that. If you're on the podcast, check out the video version. That's a pretty cool custom kick there.
Yeah. So I go all in with it. The office, you can't tell this side, but that side's orange and blue. We have 9,000 square feet here. All the employees typically are wearing orange. So I just went all in with it. And one thing I noticed as I started doing it is when you go to a room and there's 100 people in it, everybody's wearing the same damn colors typically. Yeah. Black, white, gray, red. I'm the guy in orange. And the part that cracked me up the most when I realized I was on the right path, and this was 2021, it was January. I was in Miami, Florida at a conference for a guy named Grant Cardone. I was in one of the back rows of the conference with an employee. There was a sales and motivational event. And this friend of mine texted me a screenshot of Grant on stage doing a selfie. And in the very back, you see these 2 little orange dots. And he was joking. Looks like you're in Miami. Ha ha. Hope you're well. Where are you at this week? And I'm like, that's me. Those 2 dots are me and Luis. So it comes into play when I go places. People, they notice us. It stands out. It makes a difference, and we live it everywhere. Our cups, like you said, are orange. My shoes are orange. I even have orange underwear sometimes. I won't show you that, but we
Just
eat, sleep, and drink our brand.
living it through to the core. I love it. I love it. You mentioned, I think this will be a theme through the conversation. You've been doing stuff, a little bit ahead of the curve, sitting down and recording for 8 hours in 2016, 17. A lot of people weren't doing that. It's cool to do now, but a lot of people weren't doing that. Can you take us back to the forum days and talk about how you basically took over the forums in commenting and whatnot, and that's how you kind of discovered the power of the internet.
And you researched me. And that was 2002 and 2003, I think, somewhere around there. So it was kind of comical. We started a boat dealership in 1999 on the internet. And I even think back now, I'm like, number one, how did I not parlay that into millions? I'm an idiot. But two, me and my dad and brother were talking about like, where did the idea come from? None of us knew the internet. This is 1999. Like my nickname for my wife when we graduated college in 98 was Email Girl, because she would go to this mysterious lab on campus and send emails. And I'm like, that's stupid. We'll just call them. And so I wasn't a tech person, but for some reason we got the idea in 99 to start a boat dealership with a website. And I was also in radio advertising sales, which is part of my marketing background. And so flash forward a couple years later, we had gotten a virus on our computer, and like, you can't make this stuff up. Like Glenn, our IT guy, comes to the office and every month, different virus, $1,000 every time. Bam, bam. And I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna ask you an honest question. Are you planting this virus? Because it's here every month. It comes back. Like, are you just doing it to screw with us and get money? I'm cool. I'll put you on retainer if you want money. He's like, Matt, I would never do that. I'm like, okay. He's like, I'll find where it's coming from though. So he put in a terminal. Every computer became a terminal. We had to log in, and we told our employees this: full disclosure, you're being tracked. We're trying to find which one of you idiots is downloading this. Well, long story short, it turned out to be this really attractive female that worked at our office that was downloading adult pornography. And so that was a whole nother conversation because every guy wanted to date her at that point. But when that happened, we, number one, fired her. But number two, about a month later, Glenn comes back with this binder. And I wish I had it, man. I'm so mad. I don't know. I have so many things from our history. I don't have this. And it's this giant binder. And he's like, Matt, your dad's going to want to fire everybody. You're going to love it. So, okay, what do we got? He's like, this is a binder of the entire internet uses of your employees for like 90 days. And it's categorized by each person, and then by
super sleuth right there.
Yeah. By each category. And so I'm like, okay, well, explain this. He goes, okay, go to Richie. Pull up Richie. Bass Boat Central, fishing.com, Arctic Cat. I'm like, what are these? Like, these are chat rooms. And I wasn't real big on the internet back then. And so I sure as hell wasn't on chat rooms. And I'm like, explain this. Like, well, this is Arctic Cat forums. Arctic Cat, somebody out there created a forum for people that they have Arctic Cat ATVs. And you go into this forum, and then there's sub forums. So it's like, oh, I've got a 300 4x4. And now there's 500 crazy people in here every day talking about their freaking Arctic Cat 300 horse, CC ATV. So I saw this. And of course, no lie, my dad's like, we're firing them all. They're useless. They should be working, not on the internet. I looked at it and thought, wow, these are our customers. Now, granted, we're not nationwide. We had a couple products we sold nationwide, but not as much. But these are our customers in here talking about our stuff. Let's just join the conversation. And so one thing that I thank Glenn for, RIP, he passed away a few years ago, but Glenn said, okay, Matt, I'm just going to give you some ground rules because I know you'll run in there and set the place on fire. You're not supposed to sell. You need to be transparent. Like this one guy, Sean, in our company, his name on there was like Fat Sean 76 Hillbilly or something. And he's like, Sean needs to have his first and his last name. It is also recommended so the moderators know who you are, transparency, the company name. And then they have different rules with how you sell. So I started reaching out. And the funny part was, this is back, let's say 2001, 2002-ish. I started looking at it and they all had sponsorship opportunities. And we were spending about $300,000 a year on marketing for our dealerships. We were doing, at that time, probably 5 to 7 million. We grew to 15 million a year, which put it in context. Most boat dealerships back then, mom and pops were doing 2 to 3 million. So we were a bigger dealership, all grew from the internet. And I started looking at these forums. They had these sponsorships for like $500 a year. And I called the guy's name was Al. He had Al Eddy. He owned a company called bassboatcentral.com. I don't know if it's still around or not. And I called up Al and I'm like, am I looking at this right? that for $500 a year, I can sponsor your site and have like unadulterated control of being omnipresent everywhere. He's like, yeah, just you have to have your name, you have to have a link to your website, you have to have your logo, and you can't sell. And I'm like, this is great. I've got hillbillies left and right in my store that just love talking about how fast their boat goes. And so that's what I did was I pulled each salesperson in one at a time and said, hey, I got a problem. They're like, what? They'd already forgotten about this binder. They didn't know the binder exists. They forgot about the tracking. I'm like, I got a problem. We're sponsoring fishing.com. Oh, I'm on that every day. Oh, you are? Yeah. Okay, well, we're a sponsor now, and I need you to be in the Triton, Mercury, and Yamaha forums answering questions every hour on the hour. Here's the rules. Game on. They all loved it because now between people walking in, they're getting paid to chat.
They're getting paid to do what they were trying to do anyway.
I had no clue. I mean, I knew looking at it going, okay, there's 22,000 active users daily in the United States on this bass boat forum. We're one of 50 states. There's bound to be 500 from Kentucky, 500 from Ohio. And then we end up actually at that point, we started selling boats nationwide, ironically, from that. But I was thinking just $500 a year to reach a couple thousand people, bring it on. Well, flash forward about 6 months to a year after that, we're at an event in Nashville, Tennessee at the Grand Ole Opry. Triton Bass Boats, Yamaha always had their conferences down there. And a guy from Yamaha named Ben Jarrett, who was the marketing director, walks up. And I was always, like you got marketing without rules. Yeah. I was always riding the line of right and wrong with the boat world. Like you could sell a boat somewhere, but you couldn't sell it here unless it had this. Like we were always operating in the gray area because I was whatever it took to get a deal done. And
you were pushing to make it happen.
Yeah. So Ben walks over and he's like, hey, Matt, I need to talk to you. I need to show you something. Okay, whatever. Goes to his computer, and I'm not making this up. He goes to this website called Google, and I didn't know what Google was. And he types in Yamaha four-stroke motors, and Plapps.com, number one, number two, we're all over the place. Yamaha's nowhere to be seen. And I'm like, I didn't do it. Well, Matt, you did. I'm like, I didn't do it. He's like, you're not in trouble. I'm like, okay, I probably did it. And that was when I discovered, because I didn't completely understand what we had done, I had a pretty good feeling that our footprint we had laid down on the internet was making this happen, but I didn't know it completely. And what it turned out to be pretty cool was all these forums having this rule that you had to link to your boat dealership site as part of your sponsorship to be transparent that, hey, I'm from a boat dealer. When you got 20 or so employees making 40 or 50 conversations a day, linking to your website from websites that Google sees authoritarian, you just bury Yamaha. So we became the leader really quick in that. And that just kind of put me on the journey of understanding marketing. And 2008, when I launched what is now America's Best Restaurants, our company, so we're 17th year, it was all based on Facebook. I knew radio, TV, all that stuff, but I went to my client, people I had in the business and former radio clients and said, hey, I will help you buy your radio so that your radio buys don't suck anymore, but I will also help you with this thing called Facebook because you need to be on it, even though you're going to think I'm crazy. Trust me. And that's where this company
was. In 08, that was ahead of the curve too for businesses.
Oh, I remember one of my first conversations, a guy named Adam Perkins, sells Masterpiece audio video. He's down the street from me, sells high-end home theaters. And he's like, Matt, I trust you and I trust what you're telling me, but I cannot fathom
that you're crazy
that I'm going to sell home theaters on Facebook. My 13-year-old's on there. And I'm like, dude, trust me. And sure enough, a couple years later, he was just printing money with it.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I just thought that was such an interesting way. I mean, basically the forums were forcing you to backlink to your website, which is, backlinks were way more powerful back then
huge
than what they are now. But no, appreciate you running that through. So you are the restaurant marketing guy now.
Yep.
Our audience is mainly home service, but I always love talking to people outside of the industry because there's so much crossover in marketing.
Yep.
And often the things that you guys are doing, I mean, attract, retain, or what is it here? Attract, build, and retain.
Yep.
That's every industry.
It's every industry. My third book was Restaurant Marketing Secrets. I tell friends all the time, cover up restaurants and put whatever the hell you do there. Yeah. Roofing marketing secrets, it's the same stuff.
Yeah.
And I have a video that went viral a couple years ago and we still replay it here and there. It's me on stage at a conference. It's also a video that I watched from like, I need to lose about 20 pounds. But it went viral, like 10 million views in like 3 weeks on TikTok and Instagram. And it was me on stage talking about how businesses are using social media wrong. But if you go to Red Bull, their page, there's nothing on there telling people to buy Red Bull. They're using it for what people are on there for, entertainment. And so that is the big aspect of marketing, is like, it's all the same, especially nowadays. It's all available. Back 20 years ago, the big companies, Red Bull and Chevy and Coca-Cola and McDonald's, could buy media left and right. Well, today you don't need to. So home improvement companies, restaurants, Facebook, Instagram, email, text, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, it's all available. It's all basically free. It's just a matter of how you leverage it.
Yeah, 100%. We've got Warren Johnson tuning in on LinkedIn. How are you doing, Lewis? Good to see you. Appreciate you tuning in, Warren. I really enjoy off the wall, out of the box marketing ideas. It's in the intro. It's, coloring outside the lines. What's one of the weirdest tactics that you guys have done, or maybe a few different ones and that you've tested, and how do they go?
I'll give you a good one that's coming up. We're doing it in 2 weeks. I don't know if I have it in here. Yeah, I do. So this is the money bucket.
Oh, I like it.
When I go to conferences, I don't like having a booth. We should have a booth at some of these industry events we go to. I hate it. Nobody wants to come talk to you. None of your employees want to stand around for 10 hours a day, hurt their feet, have to pack up, leave, or all that crap. So what I do when I go to conferences, in 2 weeks, we're going to Pizza Expo in Las Vegas. I will withdraw $5,000 from the bank, and I will have this thing loaded with cash, and then we'll have 10 $100 bills stapled together worth $1,000. That'll be in my pocket. And we will run ads at the conference and say, hey, the guys in orange, America's best restaurants, will be at Pizza Expo. Find us roaming the aisles, and we're going to ask you why you started your business. What's your unique proposition? Why is your pizzeria different from Papa John's? And then a couple marketing questions, and you get to reach in the money bucket. And I've had people at this show every year. Matt, I spent $35,000 to have a booth at the show, on top of probably another $15,000 of everything else. And you, with a $1 plastic bucket that you got at the dollar store, loaded with cash and a $100 Facebook ad, dominate the entire show. So I've done that at consumer shows as well. We did that at the Cincinnati Boat Show when I had our boat dealership. We had a money bag, and we gave out 2,500 fishing rods. And they were two-piece fishing rods, and they had a placard at the top that said Plapp Outdoors, booth C3, had a $25 gift card. It was 100% $25. Bring this to the store, $25, whatever you want. Or you can spend more, of course. But I had on there, I told people when we handed their fishing pole, if I see you walking around the show with your pole and the card still intact, and you see me, you get to reach in the money bag. And I had a bag with $10,000 in it. And I walked around the show, and the booth would empty. And you talk about coloring outside the lines. There was no rule that said you couldn't, as a boat dealer, walk the aisles of the show. The rule said you couldn't go in people's booths. Yeah. And so I looked at it and said, I want to dominate and completely F with every dealer here, which is what I used to do pretty well. And people I'll never forget, I walked by Herm Marine's booth, and my buddy ran Herm Marine, and he's in his booth, and his booth empties. Like, I look in his booth, and there's 100 fishing rods. People walking around looking at boats with my billboard on the fishing rod. And all of a sudden, people see me in the aisle and hear one person go, money bag, because it was a giant garbage bag. And they come running out of the booth. His booth was empty. After the show, he was complaining to the promoter, like, this is ridiculous. I like Matt, and it's good marketing. I'm jealous I didn't think about it. You have to ban it. And he's like, I'm not going to ban it. I'm going to convince Matt to let me do it with him next year. He's not breaking the rules. Yeah. And so I've always been accustomed to things like that, and always had fun with it. I think you've got to stand out. I'll give you said home improvement. I'll give you one that a buddy of mine did that we did marketing for. So back when I first started this company in 2008, from 2008 to 15, we were a generalist. I had home builder, I had window companies, landscape companies, I had everything. I eventually settled on restaurants because I enjoyed it more. And nationwide, there's 1.4 million restaurants. Hard to lose if you don't suck when there's a 1.4 million businesses. But I had a client of ours that had a really cool tactic. And this might be something that's common, but it blew me away. He did windows. Whenever they sold a job and they went to go do, I guess, the first, maybe the walkthrough for, planning out the installation, they would intentionally go to the wrong house next door.
No way.
Yeah, he'd go to the wrong house, knock on the window door, come, hey, I'm Matt, I'm here from XYZ Window. We just going to do the walkthrough. We've got your install. I didn't buy windows. Oh, wrong house. Geez, I'm sorry. Sally next door. And they'd be like, Sally got new windows. And he said, Matt, I would have never thought this. The neighborhood he was doing work for, they were upset they're getting new windows. And then so I told a handful of my clients this. One guy, Jeff, was a landscape company. He put it in play. He would do that. And so we started doing these things. And then Jeff, we actually came up with a better idea for Jeff Egbers. He was a landscape guy, was his clients with landscape, same concept. The windows are a little different. Like you either need windows or you don't. Yeah. But landscaping could always update it, could do something cooler. Well, Jeff landscaped $1 million houses, which in our area, Northern Kentucky, is a decent sized house. And so if you got $1 million house, $2 million house, the neighbors have a $2 million house. And so Jeff, I said, hey, the knock on door idea, a little corny, but it works. I got a better idea. Let's come up with a flyer that is your emergency contact info, your personal cell. We're going to deliver it to the house and say, hey, we're working on the Smith's house down the street, because this gives us a chance to knock on every door. Yeah. We want to know if there's any noise or debris issues. And Jeff's like, Matt, I handle my shit right. There's never noise or debris. I'm like, I know that, but they don't. And if you show concern, and what happened was we created this flyer, and it basically had Jeff's contact information, his picture, company, and said, if there's any noise, debris, any concerns you have whatsoever, please call my cell phone right away. It'll be fixed. He never had. Like Jeff ran a very high-end operation. Yeah. And so the first couple times I had to do it. He's like, I'm not going door to door. Like it won't work. I'll do it. What do you mean you'll do it? I'm like, I don't give a shit. So I did it myself. I remember going door to door for his landscaping company as the marketing guy and saying, hey, I'm Matt from Egbers Land Design. This is our CEO and owner, Jeff. We're doing a house 4 down. We're getting ready to do a big project. It's going to take us 4 days. There's a chance there's some noise, debris. We want to know right away. It breaks our heart when this happens. We want to treat you like this is our neighbor, our neighborhood personally. Here's Jeff's cell phone. Please call him. He would get calls within a day. Like, hey, he'd be like, yeah, there's no issues. But I want to have a quote done. That's amazing. Well, within about a month, guess who was doing the door knocking? Jeff. And so every week he would go to the new job of the week, because they had 2 or 3 crews, and he would knock on the doors, and he would get a job every single month from that tactic, just because somebody on the road is bound to be in need of landscaping. The houses are built around the same time. But then there's also somebody that's been kind of thinking about it, and now their neighbor is going to one-up them. Oh, screw that. We're getting ours done. Yeah. Human nature is a beautiful thing. PJ's tuning in from California. He said, America's best restaurants came to my little town, Twain Harte. The restaurant was local press. Can you share that comment again? I want to put a screenshot of that. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That is so cool. Thanks, PJ. Yeah, we film at around 800 restaurants a year. This Thursday morning, tomorrow morning, on March 13th, is our 2000th episode that we'll film. That's crazy. What made you start that? It was 2-prong. So I guess 3-prong. Number one, I was speaking in Newport Beach, California. As you mentioned, I've written a couple books. When I go to conferences, I get asked to speak. And I get commonly after the event, somebody will walk up and say, hey, man, I've read your book. I want to treat you to dinner. And so, get a good dinner, local restaurant. So I'm at this restaurant in Orange, California, a place called the Burger Parlor. And Joseph Bahom, the owner, is telling me the story. And it's fascinating. I mean, it's the American dream. There's a pop-up in a high-end place, 4 hours a week, 1 night a week, to 2 nights, to 5 nights, to 2 locations, to 3 locations. Like it was the story. And I'm looking at his website, and it's nowhere. Doesn't exist. Look at his Facebook. Doesn't exist. And he's like, I've never told the story. I'm like, that is ludicrous. Like, that is why you're different from Five Guys. That is your calling card. So I turned my phone on Facebook Live, and we did a video on it, and on his Facebook page. And it went viral. It did really well. He was excited for it. And at that same time, I had been thinking about, because our company wasn't America's Best Restaurants in, it was Restaurant Marketing That Works. I had been thinking about the fact that cable TV was dying. Yep. And what was next? Well, what was next was the phone. But none of these companies like Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives with Food Network and Guy Fieri are going to switch like that to the phone, because they've got tens of millions in ad dollars coming in for cable. Even if nobody's watching, the amount of pharmaceutical money and big money that's coming from Coke and Papa John's and those guys, it's still there. Yeah. So whether nobody's watching or not, they're going to do the shows. And I thought, what if we could develop the same type of show, but develop it for Facebook? And then what if we could do it in volume? Because I love Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. They visit 40 to 50 restaurants a year, and the show airs nationally, and there's no marketing behind it. So like, that's really cool. Like, it's actually secretive. That's the funny part. If they come to your restaurant, you have to announce that you're closed for 2 or 3 days. You can't tell them why. You can't post anything until you're gone. I'm like, that's ludicrous. And so I created the America's Best Restaurants. And I don't know completely how I got the idea. I know I had a guy that I knew that did some stuff in Canada, but I thought, what if I created a media company that then in turn had the marketing side and had the media side? So we created what's called the ABR Roadshow, and we'll travel the country. We'll film these little micro episodes of a TV show, broadcast on the restaurant's Facebook page, and then help them market it so that they can use our brand authority. Now, what started off back then, it was an idea in 2018. Then by 2021, I realized I wanted to go to a new level. So we bought a Mercedes Sprinter van, and I hired one full-time employee. We ended up picking up a second one within a couple months, and we took 3 of our current employees, and we just both did, we all did 2 jobs. And we did that. We filmed about 350 restaurants in 2021 in 6 months. We were doing like 5 to 10 a day.
That's a lot.
Oh, it was crazy. We'd go to one city, and we would film for an hour, take 15 minutes off, film for an hour, sleep in the van for 15 minutes. Like, it was, I don't know what the hell we were smoking. We came up with the idea back then. And then it evolved in 2022 to where we said, okay, we're going to do 2 restaurants a day. We're going to spend 4 hours, and we're going to space them an hour away. So we'll do 8 to noon, 1 to 5. And then that evolved in 2023 to a second crew. And this year, I think we're filming at 798 restaurants this year. The goal is for 2016 or 2026 and 2027 to launch America's Best, the ABR road shows, top breweries, college restaurants, beach restaurants. And so we're going to get a motorhome for that and do a different niche show, but it's all created for the phone. And so like the first prong of that 3-prong step was, number one, that cable was dying. Let's replace it with something. The second part was, let's give the restaurants a chance to tell their story in mass versus 40 or 50 get in the limelight. Let's give 1,000 or so. And then the third part of it was the marketing aspect, was that our marketing company does a lot of great stuff. It helps restaurants find people who want to eat more often. And then we have marketing that gets them to eat more often. And so my thought process, what if the two were connected? I used to jokingly say, these restaurants that Guy Fieri features, I would look them up online. Their social media sucked. Their website sucked. They had no loyalty, had no email program. But I guarantee you, if Guy would have went to them and said, hey, we just got them filming, your place is great, these 5 things are wrong with your marketing, what if we did them for you? All of them would say yes. And so my original thing was, okay, let's tell the story. Let's create the brand authority. Let's create the friendship. And then eventually let's connect our marketing prowess to it so they can get help. And that this year is actually the year that we connected a lot of our marketing tactics to our visits. So a lot of cool stuff coming there in the next 12 months.
That's a big pipeline for you guys, because you've already got the captive audience there.
Yep.
Warren's still with us here. He says ABR filmed at a restaurant here in La Center, Kentucky. Unfortunately, they have closed since, but that's cool. You've had some reach there. Yeah, yeah, not your fault. Speaking of the cable and whatnot, you kind of got out ahead of that. What do you think is the next cable that's kind of fading out when it comes to marketing and
that's
whatnot?
Fading out?
Yeah.
Well, I'll say what's not going anywhere is this device.
Yeah.
It is a sickness. Like I'm the first to admit it. I have a hard time getting away from it because, number one, anytime something good happens in my company, it's there. Anytime something bad happens, it's there. Any entertainment I get, it's there. And so like I'm a pretty disciplined human from a standpoint of reading, of studying, of education, of fitness. I have yet to figure out how to get myself away from that phone. And I think about it, I tell friends of mine this, it's like, I know I'm the extreme when it comes to a lot of things with regards to entrepreneurship and being a person with regards to running hard and fast. If that is such a problem for me, it's a problem for everybody. And I look around like the gyms I go to, people are on them. You go to restaurants, look around, they're on them. Stoplight, you're honking at a car that's not moving, maybe you, they're on their phone. So what's not going anywhere is that. What is going away? I don't think anything we're currently using is going away anytime soon. I remember in 2010, I was doing email marketing seminars for a company called Constant Contact. They wanted somebody to be a marketing expert to do a seminar that wasn't salesy. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to sell email marketing platform for $20 a month. So you can sponsor it. No worries. I'm not going to sell. I'll just do social media education. Well, the thought process back then was email was going away. And that was why Constant Contact, one of these seminars that go out there, was that email was supposed to be dying. And they were paying me to do these seminars. And I mean, here we are, 2025, and email's alive and well. I mean, my daughter's a senior in college, graduates this May. Everything she gets from the college comes via email. So people say, oh, young people aren't using email. Bullshit. They are. Young people are young people, old people. My mom and my dad are 78 years old. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. They're on YouTube. I can't do anything online without my parents seeing it. And they're on there because they know my wife is on it and they know my brother is on it, and which means our kids are on it. So it is the phone's not going anywhere. And anything that's in that phone right now isn't going anywhere. Maybe stuff like TikTok with, some of the regulations happening. I don't know, but I can't say there's anything out there that I would say is being used in a massive way that's going away. I mean, we all know that TV, cable, radio, the yellow pages. One thing I think that is kind of poo-pooed on a lot that could be good part of a marketing plan is direct mail. I don't think direct mail is as beneficial as paid ads on Facebook or is being found on the internet, but it's a good supportive product.
Yeah. Great play there to support maybe not the first one. Speaking of first ones, let's say a restaurant or a business has zero marketing budget. What would you focus on to drive revenue right away?
Live video. So I'd get on this device, especially any business. I mean,
can you walk that through? Let's walk it through for a restaurant because that's the language you speak the most.
Well, you're in home improvement, right?
Yeah.
Give me a client.
So let's say a plumber.
So plumber's like the dentist. None of us want them because it's an emergency. So if I was a plumber, I might do stuff two-pronged. Number one, I might do things to show people how to proactively avoid having the plumber come. We have this little device we bought off an infomercial from a plumber years ago. Plum Type Plumbing Cincinnati had a post about this piece you could buy on the internet. And it's like this long piece of plastic with a handle, and it's got these teeth on it that you shove it down your drains, pull it back and forth, and it pulls the worst smelling hair out you've ever seen in your life.
Ooh, that's a life hack right there.
And so like that device, the reason they shared it was to say, hey, you want to avoid us coming out for some little nuance, even though we'd love to have your couple $100 for that service visit, buy this device for $10 off of, it was like QVC or something, one of those websites. It will take away some of the issues that lead to your drain clogs, which lead to bigger problems. So I think there's things you could be doing like that. The other aspect of it, and I gave this idea to a plumbing company, Plum Type Plumbing, because they became a client eventually, was I talked to them about social media. I'm like, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, dominant powers. You also have YouTube, which is a great tool for organic because you want to be two things, top of mind when that problem comes up, or two, top of the search when the problem comes up. Well, the way to be top of mind is to own their attention on the phone. The way to be top of search is they have a bigger footprint than everybody else. And the way I've seen to have the biggest footprint is natural organic content. And so what I told Plum Type Plumbing to do, I'm like, okay, you got a house. House has roof, has windows, has doors, has, landscaping, has land aeration, all that stuff. Find 26 things that companies that do homework and go out and interview them. Plum Type Plumbing, go to Leland Homes. I'm here with John Ballantyne, Plum Type Plumbing. We're live. We're at this new home in Mason. John, you do great custom work. You're a high-end home builder. You specialize in brick and colonial. Walk us through your theories, what we got here, and then give us a house tour. So now all of a sudden, you're on Facebook for what Facebook wants, creating new content. You're the reality show. But number two, you're not on there talking about plumbing. You're talking about John Ballantyne and his home. Well, guess who the first person to share your stuff is? John Ballantyne. You've got me on here, Lewis. Guess who's going to share this tonight? My team on every platform. They'll take screenshots, they'll chop it up, they'll link to it. So if I'm a plumbing company and I do that, there's a massive benefit. Now I'm in front of homeowners who are watching stuff about the windows, about the door, about the driveway, about the patio, about the deck, about the carpet, about the window cleaning, everything. And then you take it the other way. There's also businesses in your community that are not competitive and that are different, but also people using Plum Type Plumbing, because of us, used to feature a restaurant of the week. Because
cool.
I had the restaurant division. At one point, I had the restaurant division, which is about 200 restaurants, and we had like 15 local companies we were trying to slowly get out of. Towards the end, talking to Plum Tight, and he's like, how can we get more attention? How can we use Facebook better? I'm like, we had ads running, we had lead magnets running, but we had attention. And so we started looking for the stuff like the tips, but the how to take care of your roof better from the roofing company. But I also said, what about restaurants? Like, you service all of Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. Let's do a restaurant tour. Go to a different restaurant every week and give away a gift card. Go in the restaurant.
Everybody loves food.
Yeah. Buy a $50 gift card to the restaurant. Go and eat food there. Have a conversation with the owner, or just do it yourself. Hey, it's Matt from XYZ Plumbing Company. I'm at Taqueria Mexicana in Florence, Kentucky. Food's amazing. I'm having a great time here. By the way, I got a $50 gift card we're going to give away. All you do is comment below. I'll pick it at random. Share this, comment, tag your friends. Let me know what favorite restaurant you want me to go to next week. You've got to meet people on the platform for why they're there. Yeah. And they are on there to consume content. And it sure as hell isn't about the price of a water heater, the price of a new shower or an installation. But you need to be top of mind. And so if you're top of mind, when that issue comes up, who have they engaged with the last 6 months? Plum Type Plumbing.
They're the ones, yeah. PJ actually does a great job. He was the one that commented earlier. He does a restaurant. He gets people to nominate a business, and then he has a pizza a friend of his that has a pizzeria. And basically they get the community to nominate a business, and then he goes and delivers pizzas every week. So it's a big social media event. He's going out giving pizzas. He's getting content. So I love the live idea there that you just shared, along with the giving away the gift card. You're helping the business owner of the restaurant. They're going to love you. They're going to refer you to all their business owner friends. It's this constant cycle that's just, it grows like a snowball.
And the other thing too, that's unique that I see with the trades people, is that most people that I know that are in trades for homes are pretty well versed on a lot of shit in the house. And so just because you're a plumber, you probably know more than Matt Plapp on a problem with your roof, a problem with your windows. Like, you could easily every week do a tip. Have your phone. I have a tripod on my desk. Have a phone sitting there. Do a tip of the week. Do a rant of the week. Do a employee highlight of the week. Do things to get people to talk. And then the last one I'll give you is influencers. Now, you say influencer, you're thinking that 23-year-old like my daughter who is cute and goes around and does crazy shit. The biggest influencer in most communities are the people that you don't think about, is the Chamber of Commerce president, the high school band director. Did you know the average band director has a direct influence of 2,500 people in a community?
That's didn't think about.
Take the students' parents, take the students' step parents, the grandparents, the step grandparents, the neighbors, the friends. It's like 2,500 people. A football coach, same thing. 2,000 to 3,000, maybe even 4,000 to 5,000 in some communities. Wow. Get involved with them. But the biggest thing people aren't doing is they're not using social media for what it's for. It's to create entertaining content. And it doesn't mean you got to be on a dirt bike doing a flip off a building like Red Bull. It means you just need to give people a reason to watch something. I mean, 20 years ago, reality TV started. It was like the first Survivor or something in like 1994, maybe something like that. No, 2004, the first Survivor. And that changed TV forever. And social media, the same opportunity that exists. I mean, I can guarantee you these plumbers that we talked about, if every job that the owner were to go to and look at, he can find something wrong in that house that's not plumbing. Hey, look at this. I just saw this little hack, this doggy door hack. Did you know this is a way you can prevent robberies?
Yeah, it's big. It's big. It's your feed is entertaining. I watched a series of videos with your dad around his birthday.
Yep.
You guys are a hoot. You also are super consistent with content. I know you just dialed back your podcast, but you were doing a podcast every day for I forget how many years, but
almost 3 years.
Yeah. What made you kind of go down that journey?
I'm a big fan of things that you do consistently. That recently I joined a fourth gym. I have a gym at my home, a gym at my house. I have a gym that I'm a member that I used to own. I have a lifetime membership to. But I realized I had some gaps in my fitness. And so I said, okay, I'm going to join this other gym. It's 20 minutes from my house. It's got a shower. I can go there 5 a.m., work out till 7, get my mind right. And it was kind of funny. I hadn't decided till today when I was going to do it. I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to do it like Tuesdays, Thursdays, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I'm like, you know what? Never mind. I was going to call my team. I'm like, doing it Monday through Friday. Forget it. Just going to go every morning, Monday through Friday, wake up at 5, go there and do my thing. And the reason is that when you do something Monday through Friday, and you do that for 4, 5, 6 weeks, it becomes a habit. And as long as it's a good habit, as long as it's a good habit. So like the podcasting in May of 2022, is that right? 23, 20, yeah, 2022. I decided I was going to do a podcast called Restaurant Marketing Secrets. I was going to record one every week, and I was going to do 52 episodes that week. I honestly might have been on the right path then.
Wait, you're going to record 52 and then do it over the whole course of the year?
I was going to do one a week. So the end of the year, I'd have 52. So I did 5 because I was going on vacation. I had a business trip. So I did 5 in one day, which actually was less than an hour. I had a microphone at my desk there. I told my team, because I have a marketing team. I have a 5-person marketing team that can do a lot of stuff. But I didn't want to burden them with this new idea because they already had enough shit. So I said, show me how to use the podcast software. Buy me a mic. Tell me what to do. And so I like every podcast that's on there. There's 787, I think. Matt Plapp did everything on. Nobody's touched it. So I did 5 in like an hour. I was like, that was pretty easy. I'm going to do it every day. So I upload those 5 right away. And I went ahead and did, in my mind, Monday through Friday was every day. And so I was sitting there New Year's of 2022. And I'm like, I've been doing this podcast every day. I'm like, hold on. I actually haven't been doing it every day. I've been doing it Monday through Friday. Okay. Starting next week, 7 days a week. And so I did 7 days a week, all of 2023, all of 2024. And I realized in early 2025 that some of the content was getting watered down, that I was creating a podcast. I actually was doing a blog. I wrote a blog from last April till this January every day.
Yeah.
And I realized I was oversaturating with not deep enough quality. And so for me, it became easy to get those reps. Now I'm really comfortable with doing content. I've probably done between audio and video podcasts on my own over the last 10 years, probably 10,000 episodes. So I've become pretty versed with how to speak. I've become comfortable with what I'm talking about. I've become comfortable with my skin, because a lot of times that's the hard part too.
It is
seeing yourself on camera, hearing yourself on audio. You think you sound stupid. You think you look stupid. Why is anybody going to listen to you? The hardest part about it is typically your own critique. And so I recently dialed that back. But the reason I did it every day was, I wake up every day. I eat every day. I can go to the gym every day. Might as well get a microphone out and talk every day. So the reason I scaled it back, though, was I got to a point where I realized that I was simply doing it every day to continue the streak. And for me, I looked at it and I kind of listened to about 2 weeks of podcasts. And I'm like, a couple of these are a stretch. Like they're good, but have I talked about these before? And are they deserving of a topic?
Yeah. I love that. I love the consistency, but that awareness as well. We've gone through a lot of stuff here. We can't leave without talking about attract, build, and retain. Well, we have talked about retraction quite a bit. The build is important. I think retention is really fascinating. It's something restaurants do very poorly, and I think home service companies do as well. Can you talk a bit about some retention strategies before we wrap up?
Yeah, so attract, build, retain was something I created, oddly enough, because I wanted it to be the same acronym as America's Best Restaurants. We were talking about the other day. I can't remember what it was, but originally it was attract, build, and it had something with a B. And I was sitting at a rope park my kids were on, didn't have my phone on me for like 3 hours. I'm like, there's got to be something with the R. And I was looking through all of our strategies. And at the time, I used to use retention, attract, build, retention. That didn't make sense. So then I was like, afterwards, Googling different versions. And of course, I'm like, retain. Okay, I'm an idiot. That makes sense. But for me, there's a simple 3-step formula that constantly repeats itself. You have to attract attention. Like my wife, I've been my wife now for 29 years, been married for 25, 26 this August. Yeah, thank you. And it's a freaking miracle that I retained her. But I attracted her attention in college. And then I asked for her dorm number and asked to go on a date. I built a relationship, but I also built a database. I have her name. I know what dorm room she lives in now. I have her number of her dorm room. And then after that, it was up to me to retain her. So marketing is the same thing. I saw a study. This was, 2005. It's in our neighborhood. And it was in the car business because we had a car client back then. And it was Toyota and Honda. And it was kind of funny. I wouldn't have thought this. Like when I saw the article, I'm like, this is making sense. Honda dealers have terrible customer retention at the dealer level. Chevy have huge customer retention at the dealer level, not brand, dealer.
Okay.
Story went on to talk about. There we go. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you just cut out what the story went on to talk about.
Yeah, so the Chevy. So the Chevy dealer, the customer's car breaks down more often. And so they're forced to go back to the dealership. And nowadays, dealerships, for the most part, have their stuff together because that's how they get a lot of their money is service. And so the Chevrolet dealership service manager proves to Matt Plapp that we can fix your car when it comes here.
They touch in so much more.
Yeah. And so by the time I get to 3 years later and I go to buy the new vehicle, I'm going to Tom Gill Chevrolet because I know what I'm going to get. Whereas the Toyota buyer has not taken their car to carry Toyota in Florence. And so when 3 years comes around to go to another Toyota, it's price shopping at different dealers. So they're loyal to the brand, but not the store. Well, that is the retention aspect. And so you look at it from a restaurant or a home services business, it's have you retained your customers? My car I just bought my wife for Christmas was the 51st car I've bought as an adult. I have a car problem. I've not bought
You also have a very unique aspect that you've counted all the cars that you've owned.
Yeah, bought a bunch of them. And the reason it comes up, people are like, how many cars do you have? Like they think I still have all these cars. Like, no, I just got rid of it. I had 4 in 1 year. So I started counting them years ago, ever since like 38. So now we keep track. Amazing. But I've not bought one car or 2 cars from one dealership. And I joke, I tell the dealership, I'm here buying this car. This is the second I bought in 2 years. I will buy another one in 6 months. Stay in touch. When you get A, B, and C, call me. They never call. They do not retain. They're trained incorrectly, and it's system-wide. Businesses have that problem. So there's 2 aspects of retain. There's retaining your customers' attention, and there's retaining your customers. And part of the retaining your customers, the way you do it is by staying on top of mind. Yes, somebody might only do landscaping every 7 years. Somebody might only put a new roof on their house every 20 years. So you've got to find ways to stay in front of them creatively with social media, with email marketing, so that number 1, when they have a need come up, they call you. But 2, when they need to refer you, they can give it to you. And so the retention part is, to me, you have to retain their attention to retain their business.
It's huge. That's huge. There's a lot we could go into that, but there's been so many nuggets in here, Matt. Appreciate you coming on. We are coming up to the top of the hour here. What is one thing you would love to leave the audience? Very open-ended question.
Oh, wow. It is open-ended. So I want to give you a couple. Number 1, I want to give you with LMS, lead, market, sell. As entrepreneurs, it is your job to lead your company. And when I say lead your team. My team knows. I don't post on social media that I'm at the gym for my benefit or so that somebody sees it. I post so my team sees it because I want them following the same path. So I lead them from a standpoint of I am responsible in a lot of ways. I want to make sure that I'm leading them right. The second part is marketing. It is our job as owners of companies to market our businesses every day. When I go to the gym, my gym outfit is in, my logo is my MP. It looks like a fist bump. My gym hoodie tonight will be a MP hoodie, an MP t-shirt, blue shorts with the MP on them, orange shoes and socks with food on them every day. And so it's your job to market your business all the time. We've all put our blood, sweat, and tears into it. You might as well take advantage of it. And then the last part is sell. It is your job to sell your vision and sell your company. So here is a document we have. It's called A Vivid Vision. It's a book by Cameron Harold. My COO is actually with Cameron this week at a mastermind in Vancouver. This is a document written as if it's May 17th, 2027. It is 3
Dang.
years when it was written in the future. This is the one I wrote in 2020 saying where we would be by 2023. And we
That is
accomplished it.
awesome.
And so this is a document we create so that my banker, my attorney, my clients, my prospects, but more importantly, my employees know what we are trying to accomplish. Like I have the back is this crazy ass, probably $6 to $7 million building that I want to build for our company as our next headquarters. I don't know how I'm going to afford it. I don't know how to do it, but that's like my crazy goal. And my employees are already talking about like, we got to have pickleball. I saw there's a cold plunge. Is there a hot tub? Like stuff that you wouldn't talk about, but lead, market, sell. Lead your company, market your business, sell your vision. And then the last part of it goes back to marketing is aim and expect versus hope and pray. I saw a pressure washing company today, a guy that's in my area that I know through some other contacts, who posted a campaign that he sent out text messaging, and he showed the responses of people replying to the text and booking his services. He's like, I love it when a marketing plan comes together. This guy does a great job, does pressure washing videos of the before and afters. I freaking love it. Like I'll watch them, like the concrete goes from black to white.
It's like art.
I love that stuff. Yeah. So I commented on there, what you did there was you aimed and expected. Like hope and pray is I hope Matt liked our service. I pray he calls us when he needs us. Aim and expect is when I have a service I want to sell and I have an audience I'm going to sell it to. And so in this case, Ben had an audience that he had built, past customers, customer database. He aimed at them and expected to get services. And guess what? People did it. That all comes down to data. You got to have customer data. If you don't have your customers' data, which is really easy to get, nobody gives a shit about giving anymore, then you cannot aim and expect. You're stuck hoping and praying.
Get your crush's dorm room number. You can't lock it up for 26 years if you don't do that.
Yep.
I love it. Matt, where can people find you? How can they follow you? I can tell you right now, you can just Google his name and he's got a knowledge panel. You can pretty easily find his stuff. But
MattPlapp.com, my website, MattPlapp.com. It takes you to all my different resources. I've got a couple books on there you can buy. Just cover the word up. Restaurant marketing that works, roof for marketing that works, gutter marketing that works, grass marketing that works. Doesn't matter what it is. It's all the same stuff.
As always, guys, take a listen back to this. Take action on at least one thing in here. Matt dropped a lot of nuggets in here. Get out there, get your money bag, terrorize your home show if you need to. Do the things that make you stand out in the market and get out there and make it happen. Matt, thank you so much for coming on. Stick around for a second after. Guys, we'll see you on the next episode. Cheers.